Hello, hello, hello. It's that time again. Time to make art with Mrs. M. I hope you brought your imagination with you and a whole lot of love for art. I think that we're going to have fun today. We've been learning about an artist named Robert Indiana. He's an American artist who used the four letters in the word love to send a message. Well, initially he was designing a Christmas card and he used three colors, four letters, and it made an amazing impact. And then he turned that same four letters into a sculpture. I've visited there in New York City. It's fantastic. But love. This is one that I did that I think is fun and whimsical, uses different kinds of lines, different colors. I kept the background all the same colors so it wouldn't be too busy. But I want to show you how to do something like this today. Well, the first thing you need to do is brainstorm. Think of words that have four letters, words that are positive, words that are good, words that send a good message. So these are some words that some friends of mine threw at me, and there's love right there, nice and big in the middle. But um, I'm sure you could think of more words that have four letters, and it has to be four. And you can start first by making your paper into a square. Now, the very first thing about this is that you'll need your paper to be a square. I'm going to take the top edge of my paper and fold it over to the side. This is how I can make a square without having to measure with a ruler. And then what I do next is right along that fold where the paper folded over, take my pencil and trace along there to make a line. So now I know where the square is. There's a square. But I want my paper to have four sections, so I'll fold down to that line. I folded to that line I just drew, so that now my paper's in half that way, and then I'll fold my paper in half this way. Just make the corners touch, press down, run your finger along the edge for a nice crisp fold. I'm going to ignore these lines that were caused by the diagonal fold, and I'm going to take my pencil and trace along the folds that I want to remember. And then you choose your word that has four letters. Well, I've done one of these already. Draw. I used four letters and three colors. I try to keep it simple. I try to keep it neat. You can see where the strokes of the marker are in there. Then someone said, use these four letters. These are the letters for our school division, NNPS. And after I did, I figured it looked a little too plain like this one, so I added some designs inside of the orange letters because they were all the same color. And I really like how that turned out. This time I'm going to choose a word that I want to send a message. So I'm going to use the word vote. I'm going to make my V turn this way. And my O turn the same way Robert Indiana turned his O, in love. He also did a design for a presidential campaign in 2008, and he used the letters HOPE for hope. Now, the important thing to remember is that all of the letters need to be touching each other. So when I make this letter T, I'm making sure it's really big. letter E. So now all of the letters are touching one another. Isn't that cool? Well, that's the really hard way to do it. I'm going to show you a much easier way. By just folding your paper in half and then folding it in half again for 4 parts. You won't have squares. You'll have more of a rectangle for each section, but that's okay. Okay. I drew those letters really quickly because I've been doing lettering a long time. So I have some things figured out. But maybe you don't. So maybe you want to make your letters, just write them. Nice and big in each section. And then what you should do is go around them. So I'm going to trace around that first letter that I drew. I'm going to take this line all the way down to the bottom because I want that E to go all the way to the bottom. And I'm going to trace on this fold and make sure that E goes all the way to this fold, so it's going to touch the T. And then what you do is erase that first letter that you wrote. And what's left is the lines that you drew around it. And voila. I'm going to do the T the same way. I'm going to trace around it. It's right there touching the E. I'm going to make this line go all the way to the bottom of the page. And then I'm going to continue on this side. Make this line go all the way to the bottom of the page. Go back and trace the line that's inside. You might choose to do the word love because it's one of those words that never gets old. Or you might choose to brainstorm another word that has 4 letters. I'm going to do V and make sure it goes all the way down and touches the T. Oops. And then comes over and then back up. And keep that going. This line's going all the way to the top of the page, like so, like that. Erase the line in the middle. Robert in Indiana purposely turned the O on its side, the letter O on its side, for a dramatic flair. So I'm going to take this O all the way to the edges of the paper. I'm going to make it nice and big. And then it looks rather skinny compared to the others. That's because I didn't trace around the inside. If you have a letter that has an opening in the middle, make sure you trace around the inside. So now that I've done that, it looks a lot bigger and thicker, and it looks like it matches with the other letters better. Now, it will be totally up to you what you decide to do next. Are you going to paint it or use colored pencils, add designs? It's totally up to you. But whatever you do, make it your own. It could be either size. It could be lots of designs on there. Or you could keep it simple. Or maybe even go crazy with patterns on each letter. Have like a plaid and a zigzag and a spiral and a heart-shaped pattern on these letters here. Whatever you do, just make something. Art makes you smart. Give it a try, and I'll see you sometime soon.